Hey guys, this is Steven here with another video on how to play some of my favorite puzzles. This one is on skyscrapers. The grid size can be of any dimensions, but in this example we have a 5x5. The objective is to place all the numbers within the grid such that no two numbers repeat in any row or column. If it were a 6x6, we'd use the numbers 1 through 6. If it were a 4x4, we'd use the numbers 1 through 4. But here we're working with the digits 1 through 5. The numbers in the cells represent the height of the skyscrapers. So you could think of it as a building. If I put a 5 here, that's a 5-story building. And the clues along the outside is how many buildings would be visible from that vantage point. So again, the way to think of it is this is a city block. We're going to be building skyscrapers in here. And these are people looking at the buildings from that angle. So as an example, if you had a person here on the south looking north, you would only see these 4 buildings because this 2-story building would be hidden by the taller buildings in front of it. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the gist of the game. What I'm going to do is try to solve this puzzle using some common tips and tricks and share those with you. So hopefully it'll be easier for you to solve your own in the future. So the first thing that I do is I look at the clues that are 1. And that's easy because we know a 5 is going to have to be placed in front of it so that it hides all the buildings behind it, so that this person can only see one building. So that's easy peasy. Next one is I would look for any 5 clues because that would be the largest clue possible. Now unfortunately we don't have any clues that are 5s, but if we did, they'd be really helpful because you'd have to put all the buildings in sequential order, because any other order would obscure the building in the back, and so it has to look like that. And so any puzzle that has any sort of difficulty usually doesn't have this kind of clue, but if you see it, it's really helpful. So the next kind of clue I look for would be any of the 4s, because it's the next largest number. If you see a 4, the tallest skyscraper has to be one of the last 2. The way to think of it is the tallest skyscraper is going to be in whatever cell this clue is, or the ones behind it. So a 5 is going to have to be in the second cell or any of the ones behind it. A 3, the 5 is going to be in the third cell or any of the ones behind it. And a 4, it's going to be in the fourth cell or any of the cells behind it. The only exception is the 5 clue where it has to be in the back, and a 1 clue where it has to be in the front. So hopefully that helps. But if we look at this 4, we know the 5's got to be in one of these 2. Well, it can't be in this cell because that column's already spoken for. So the 5 has to go there. And same thing with this 4, it's got to be in one of these last 2. Well, it can't be the bottom because there's already a 5 in that row. So there we have it. There would be another way of solving that last 5, and I call it the Sudoku method, where you simply use scanning like you would in a Sudoku. So you could see there's already a 5 in every row except for that second to last row, and there's a 5 in every column except for the middle column, and that leaves us just one cell where the 5 could possibly go. So you could see there you could have solved that using a couple different methods, but we've completed now all of the 5 skyscrapers, or the 5-story buildings. So then I move on to where I could find the 4-story buildings. And the way to start there is any clue that's greater than a 2, like this 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4. Those, you know a 4 cannot go in the front. And the reason for that is if you had a 4 here, you would only see these 2 buildings from this vantage point. So we know that a 4 can't go there. So what I'll do is I'll do a pencil mark in front of all of those clues that are greater than 2. I believe that's it. And what's that's done now is we can see in this last column there's only one cell available where the 4 can go, and it's right there. And now what we can do is say that a 4 can't go in that row. anymore because we already have it. So that is really helpful. The other thing you can see is that any of these 4s, you can't have a 4 in the second cell either, because then you'd only see 3 buildings. So it doesn't matter what number this is, you're going to see that building, and you're going to see this building, but you're not going to see what's behind this building, right? If it were a 1, 2, or 3, you would only see the first one, the second one, and the third one, and that would violate the clue. So we know that anytime we have a 4 clue, you can't have a 4 in the second cell either. So here, and that one we already know because of the 3. So that is helpful, because again, now we look at the second to last row, there's only one cell available that the 4 can go into, and that's right there. So I think that's it for the 4s that I can think of, because we could draw this over here. We know there can't be a 4 in that row. But if we look, 4 is going to be in one of these 2 cells. I don't know which one. And a 4 can be in one of these 2 cells. Again, I don't know which one. And the same here. So I think we can move on to other clues. The big clues are really helpful because, again, it means you're going to have to see a lot of buildings. And I can't place a 3 in the front either, because let's say hypothetically I placed a 3 there, and I don't know, 4 there. I'm only going to be able to see these 3 buildings, because whatever is behind the 3 is going to be obscured. And so that would violate that rule as well. So we know that a 3 can't be in front of the 4 either. So we can do that. I think that's helpful. Now if we look at this last column, I think the 3 is going to have to go in the front. Yeah, and the reason for that is if the 3 was anywhere else, let's say the 3 was in the second cell, any building in front of it, a 1 or 2, is going to be seen, and then all of a sudden you're going to see 4 buildings. And so a 3 can't go here. And we already know a 3 can't go there, so therefore a 3 is going to have to go there. And let's make that a little bit bigger so we can see that. There. So that's helpful. And you know what? I think we can place a 3 in this row as well. Because the 4 is hidden behind the 5, the 3 is now the largest building, and you can't place it in front. Because if you placed it in front like this, you would only see these 2 buildings, because this would be a 1 or a 2. So you'd see 1, 2 buildings, and that's it. You wouldn't see the 4 because it would be obscured by the 5, and that would break this rule here. So we know that that's not the case. So we know that a 3 can't go there, and that's going to be able to solve this one, because we know a 3's got to be here or here. Well, there's already a 3 in that top row, so we can't have a 3 there, right? If we do our little pencil strokes. Oops. Pencil stroke there, pencil stroke there. So a 3 can't go in any of these. It has to go here. Right, and now we know the 3 can't go here, and the 3 can't go there. Right. So that's helpful. So now, after that, we can see the 4s in this first row, or first column, I'm sorry, has to be this top one, right? You can't have a 4 here, can't have a 4 there. Obviously the 4s are not there. So 4 has to go there. So we can go ahead and write that one in. Now let's clean this up. Let's make it we know it's going to be a 1 or 2 there. 1 or 2 there. And then we can do the same here. Right? We know that a 4 can't go here or here. Obviously can't go there. So then the 4 must be in that middle middle one right there. And now we know there's a 4 in every column except for the second column, and a 4 in every row except for the last one. So the last 4 must be here. Perfect. Now let's clean up the 4s because we know all the 4s have been solved. Oops. There we go. And this is just going to be a 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. Okay. So the next thing I'm looking at is this 4 clue. So we could see these 2 buildings. We're going to have to see 2 more buildings. So we're going to have to see these 2. So these have to be in sequential order. Because otherwise, if you had a 1 here and a 2 there, the 2 would hide the 1-story building. So you'd only see these 3. And that would violate this. So we know it has to be the other way around. There we go. Let's make those bigger. And that's going to be the same case here with this 4. We see these 2 buildings. We're going to have to see these 2 buildings as well. So those have to be in sequential order. We'll make that bigger. And now because we've solved the 1 here, there's only a 2 missing. 2 has to go there. And now it's starting to look a little bit better. So 2 can't go. So if we look here at this column, we're missing, a 1, 2, and a 3. Well, there can't be a 2 here, and it can't be a 2 there in those rows. So the 2 has to go there. And now the puzzle's just going to fall apart. It's pretty easy from this point forward. So here we're missing a 1 or 3, right? 1 or 3. Well, the 1's up here, so you can't place a 1 there. So the 1 has to go there. Let's make it bigger. And this is then the 3. And the 3 can go here. This has to be a 1. And so now in these 2 cells we're missing a 2 and a 3. Well, there's already a 3 in that column, so this has to be a 2. And this has to be a 3. And there you have it. So that's Skyscrapers. I think it's a lot of fun. It took me a few puzzles to get used to it, but I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. They also have Sudoku variants where they use this kind of methodology where they mix both the Sudoku and a Skyscrapers. And they don't always give you a clue on every row or column. Sometimes they'll just give you a few clues, but not all of them, and you kind of have to solve the rest with less knowledge, and they can get a little difficult. So I enjoy it. Of course, if you're going to give it a try, start with the easier ones, the smaller ones, and then go from there. If you liked what you saw here in this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more in the future. Thanks everyone. Have a good night.